Nammo Phat, good morning. Thank you for joining me for this Tuesday's daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The second wonderful precept. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and learn ways to work for the well-being of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I will practice generosity by sharing my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in real need. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. I will respect the property of others, but I will prevent others from profiting from human suffering or the suffering of other species on earth. This morning's reading from Ajahn Sucitto's book, Kamma and the End of Kamma, is Kamma, the Relational Field. Kamma is potent and tricky. It involves the creative and interpretive energies that are conditioned by each individual's history. There's the result, the vipaka, of being born. We experience ourselves as existing within fields of sensations, moods, attitudes, and sense input that overlap and tell us where and how we are. We discern and acquire meaning and learn from our living context, from the planet, society, and family, and from our own bodies. And these physical and psychological fields depend on the consciousness that operate through the 5 external senses and the mind. Through the external senses, we are continually being defined as, I'm in here, receiving that impression. Mind consciousness adds more details. Through this, we feel defined by how others see and relate to us, and even more continually by how we regard ourselves. How we are, or how we think others think we are, gets defined by the feedback of pleasure, pain, reward, and blame. Identity gets programmed in with the dominant, most deeply ingrained patterns of praise and blame, value, self-respect, or neglect forming a self-definition. Thus, how we have been, and are being, affected solidifies into who we are. Our fundamental sense of being something is then based on patterns that arise through being within something, a womb, a family, a nation, a world order, and so on. This is the action of consciousness. From this basis, the more personal sense of me develops through feedback as my appearance and actions get measured and recorded. Out of this mass of what we feel and what we make of it comes this sense of, I am this, I'm in this, or even, I want to be other than this. In this way, the patterns and programs of our minds get established through relationship. If what we're born in is giving us messages of welcome and trust, then our patterns and programs get formed on a foundation of basic confidence in being here. But if it's the other way, if there were misunderstandings, if we have been fed biases, exaggerations, and falsehoods, or if the family or society is giving us messages that we're a nuisance or a burden, or that we've got to be productive, intelligent, and attractive, then even though we may personally acquire those qualities, we do so from a basis of anxiety. In fact, we may even get to be very intelligent and vigorous in order to quell the underlying sense that unless we come up with the goods, we're not welcome here. We may have developed formidable willpower to feel confident that we're successful and independent and don't need help, but a sense of self that claims complete autonomy is a pointer to a diseased will and relational dysfunctionality. History is full of brilliant but neurotic geniuses, crazy messiahs, and psychopaths with formidable powers of mind. If we don't have the sense of belonging to a good and benevolent family or to a society that upholds skillful values such as honesty, kindness, and generosity, the basic sense of what we're living within feels unreliable or untrustworthy. Then we're not in a community of value, and our own goodness may not be valued. In that scenario, we have to find worth through achievement and know-how, so the relational basis becomes one of strong individuation. Do it and get it by yourself, with a weak feeling for sharing, cooperation, or integration with others. It's worse still if we can't achieve value through our own individual efforts. We experience ourselves as worthless, and if the judge of self-worth is our own performance-driven psychology, we never come out as winners. There's always a better or higher that we can imagine becoming. This loss of worth or sense of being driven can result in existential despair or breakdowns, depression, substance abuse, and even suicide. Unfortunately, this is often the case in Western societies, where there is considerable stress on individual achievement and little sense of something to which we belong through no effort of the will. Given the unreliable nature of social relationships, the most reliable sense of belonging is to an overarching cosmos, a field of value, a true or sacred. This is the most important reference, not just belonging to the group no matter what it's doing, nor to a nation-state no matter what the agenda of its leaders, nor to a cult based on some charismatic leader. If we sign up to be an unquestioning part of a team, we enter a relationship of infantile dependence and of being dumbed down. Therefore, it is vital to sense and to be able to aspire to a sacred that is free from contaminations and freely available to any wise person through their own cultivation. In Buddhist terms, this is an essential meaning of the term Dhamma. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me today.